Do you love eggs but still are on the fence about them being unhealthy? I do believe there are some unhealthy eggs, and this podcast is going to help you understand the difference in how the hens are raised and what makes eggs questionable. Take a listen to this podcast. Welcome to my podcast, Giving You a Fresh Start After Trauma. I'm Regina Sanchez, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Starting over after trauma can be a blend of real pain and some hope, sadness and then some joy. It's a mixture of moments of faith and then moments of fear. There will be times when you'd rather not remember, but then times of excitement. You may fail along the way, but if you keep moving forward, your discouragement will turn to peace. Some days you may feel like giving up, and other days you're running in your race to victory. That, my friend, is a journey of having a fresh start after trauma. And if you are in any of these places and need some encouragement, you have stopped at the right place. Let's journey together to giving you a fresh start after trauma. Join me now to be revived, rejuvenated, and restored to a place of living free from your past emotional pain. Welcome, friends, to my podcast, Giving You a Fresh Start After Trauma. Remember, eating healthy food is critical to the healing of your whole body, both physical and emotional. Unhealthy foods will destroy your microbiome or your gut and can bring on depression and/or anxiety. So let's get started. Today I'm shifting to some healthful tips regarding eggs. A short while ago, I wrote an article on unscrambling eggs. And if you would like a refresher or to read it for the first time, below is a link to be connected to it. So today I'm going to continue discussing eggs and some distinctions on how hens are raised. Recently, I saw a YouTube video where a young man by the name of Caden Kaziar took a trip to a pasture-raised egg farm. His video was quite fascinating, and it gave me a greater love for eggs, and specifically pasture-raised eggs. They are my go-to for breakfast. I love all types of cooked eggs, and I appreciate the protein it gives me to kick off my day. So I'm sharing this video because it is worth taking a listen to, and it can be said so much better than I could explain it, and you're actually hearing it from the farmer. So below this podcast, you will find the link to that YouTube video. But just a few thoughts. Sadly, years ago, eggs were bastardized, and we were told they were bad for our health. So what did they create? Something called egg beaters. Now, tell me how this product is healthier than a natural egg. The ingredients were modified food starch, corn oil, xanthan gum. Those ingredients are supposed to be better than the pure egg? I don't think so. I have come to terms, and I'm sure you've heard me say this over and over again, but I've come to terms with the fact that when we are told that a God-created food is bad for us, we need to dig a little deeper. First, who's telling us this? How are they making money from it? And lastly, what money-making product is made from this supposed bad news? I mean, take wheat, for instance. They've destroyed wheat and then turn around and tell you that gluten is bad for you. Well, it's because they've destroyed the wheat. And then they come up with all these gluten-free products. Think about the mindset behind all this. It just seems to be like a money-making proposition. And it really makes me angry. Now, understand, there are foods that we need to be cautious with, like your traditional wheat products. But it's only because the food industry destroyed it. If they didn't destroy wheat, we would be eating bread like we normally did when I was a kid. That's what they've done with eggs. But it is very, very healthy to eat pasture-raised eggs. Now, in that prior blog post that I wrote about, that I set the link below for, I had given or showed a chart of different options for raising hens to produce eggs. Obviously, according to the chart, that pasture ones are the best. And there are many, many farmers reverting back to raising their hens that way. Pasture-raised hens have about 108 square feet to roam. And they get to eat bugs and grass and, things on the ground because that's what they were created for. Free range hens have about 2 square feet in which to roam about outside. Now, both of those are not given antibiotics, which is good. But their free range is really limited to an area of ranging. So when you have a lot of hens, it's hard to give them a greater pasture in which to find their bugs and insects and things of that nature. Cage-free is the third option, and they get about 1 square foot of acreage for roaming, which is very, very small. And they're given antibiotics. Cage-free can be given antibiotics, and they don't really have outdoor access. So those are just the 3 different options. You can find a cage-free, free range, or pasture-raised. My go-to is pasture-raised. And I purchase my eggs from a local health food store where I purchase my raw milk from. And the eggs that I purchase are from the same farmer. And last year I had a friend visit me from Virginia, and her and I decided to take a visit to this farm. And we were amazed at how beautiful and pristine the farm was. It was so clean, and it is totally 100% a place I trust to get my raw milk and my eggs from. And anybody in Connecticut that's interested, the name of the farm is called Baldwin Farms. Now, I can't always get to this specific health food store because it's a little out of my way. And so I was at a point where I needed eggs, and I bought them from Whole Foods. And they had something new. They had organic, pasture-raised from a regenerative farm. These eggs were incredible. The yolk was very, very orange, which means the hens are allowed to pasture on the land. Because when your yolks are more yellow, it means they're being fed grain, which is not a normal feed for a hen. So what is regenerative farming? Because we're probably hearing more and more about that. So I looked it up with my friend Google, and this was the definition that I got. Regenerative farming is a holistic, nature-based approach to growing food that focuses on restoring soil health, enhancing biodiversity, and improving water cycles, going beyond mere sustainability to actively heal the land. Key practices include no-till farming, cover cropping, crop rotation, integrating livestock, and minimizing chemical inputs, all aiming to create resilient, productive ecosystems that capture carbon, improve water retention, and boost farm profitability while mitigating climate change. So think about years ago. Think about the times of, Little House on the Prairie and such. They didn't have irrigation systems to water their crops, and they had acres and acres and acres of land. But there was a way, a regenerative way, a holistic, nature-based approach, the way God created you to have a land and grow crops. So that's what regenerative farming, they're trying to get back to an original way of years ago of raising produce. Well, the yolks also in these eggs from the regenerative farming practice were very high. They sat very high, which is another sign of a healthy egg. And they were just delicious. They were absolutely delicious. So take a few minutes if you can And check out what this young man, Caden, was educated on as he visited this Texas farmer. There's a link below. The video is only like 22 minutes, and I found it to be extremely educational. And it gave me food for thought that when I go buy my eggs, I am going to make sure they are pasture raised. Will I always buy organic? Maybe if I can. But as long as they're pasture raised, I'll feel better about eating those eggs as opposed to getting something that is cage free or free range. So take a listen if you can, just 22 minutes or so for the video. The link is below, and I think you'll find it educational. So thank you for listening. As always, if you found this information to be somewhat helpful, please give it a like. Please share it with anyone that you know that might be interested in hearing about holistic pasture-raised eggs. So thank you for listening. Be blessed, be encouraged, be healthy, and change your diet to God-created food, and you will be amazed at how wonderful you begin to feel. Thanks for listening. God bless. Thank you, my friends, for taking the time to listen to my podcast. I hope you found it uplifting and encouraging, and that it guides you to having peace, love, joy, and health in your life. If you would like more information on my coaching programs, then go to my website, reginasanchez.com, where you can see the services I offer to give you a fresh start after trauma. You can also find my book, Can I Have Your Heart, Daddy, on Amazon. It is my personal journey back to the heart of my Heavenly Father. Be blessed, be encouraged, and know that you are loved.